Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. This is Clinical Reasoning series and case number 2 is what we are going to discuss now. Please note that this discussion is only for academic purposes and is not directly related to the patient care, and you are requested to consult a physician in case there is any need. This is a brief clinical history. The detailed clinical history you can see from the Telegram group, the link of which I have shared in the description below. So coming back to the case, this is a 30-year-old female with sudden onset of pallor and jaundice. There is a history of small joint pain with photosensitivity. On examination, there is malar rash with splenomegaly. In this particular question itself, you are getting a lot of clues. For example, sudden onset of pallor and jaundice. What does it tell you? This is an event of hemolysis. Second thing, what they have given in the question is this patient is also having malar rash and photosensitivity, which are typical features of, yes, what is that? It is SLE, right? So, two important clues: sudden onset of hemolysis in a patient with SLE. Now, let's go to the second part of the question, which says that this patient is having ANA positivity, 4 plus, it is strongly positive. Double stranded DNA is also positive. Hemoglobin is less, 5.2. Total leukocyte count is elevated, 22,000, and platelet count is 40,000 per cubic millimeter. Now, here again, very important clue, you know that ANA is the most common antibody in SLE. Second thing is double stranded DNA is very pathognomonic of SLE. So in all cases, this is a in all probability this is a case of SLE associated with sudden onset of hemolysis. So what do you think is the diagnosis? Those who have known the answer, please write it down. What is the diagnosis? The diagnosis is autoimmune hemolytic anemia. A very important topic. Actually, this is of two varieties, namely the warm autoantibodies and the cold autoantibodies. In SLE, what you get is a warm type of autoantibodies, which is IgG. In contrast, the cold type of autoantibody is usually IgM. So, what is the specialty of this warm autoantibody? This can be detected by using a direct Coombs test, which tests for this RBCs. You can see that the patient RBC is coated by this antibodies. Are you able to follow this? Sometimes the complement also codes the RBC antigens. Now what happens? This coated RBCs along with the antibodies. To this, you are adding anti-human globulin. Anti-human globulin. This is done in vivo. Now what happens? This causes agglutination. This causes agglutination. The temperature at which this agglutination is caused is what is the type of autoimmune hemolytic anemia. In warm type, this is usually a temperature more than or equal to 37 degrees centigrade. In cold type, it is usually at low temperatures. Are you able to follow this? Right. Now, what I would want you to remember is that once the coating of the RBCs by the antibodies is done, what happens is it will get trapped inside the splenic macrophages. So what happens is that a part of this RBC membrane gets lost, and this can result in spherical transformation of the RBCs. This is what we call it as acquired spherocytosis, and one of the most common cause of acquired spherocytosis is autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Many of you might have known about hereditary spherocytosis, which is an inherited condition, okay, presenting with anemia and jaundice. But this is a case of acquired spherocytosis. And please note that for your exam, because of this trapping of RBCs coated with the antibodies in the spleen, spleen is supposed to be the major site of destruction in these cases, right? Or spleen is the site of hemolysis in these cases. Now, one more point I would want you to remember is there is one peculiar condition, which is a rare condition only, but still you need to remember the name. It's called as Evans syndrome, wherein what happens is it's a form of immune thrombocytopenia characterized by antiplatelet antibodies causing destruction of platelets also. So in this condition, you will get both anemia as well as thrombocytopenia, which is called as Evans syndrome, which is actually a subset of autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Now, for those who are watching this video, there is a bonus question. The question is, it was decided to give blood transfusion to this patient for anemia. You might have noted that the hemoglobin is only 5.2. So anyway, this patient needed blood transfusion and it was decided to give. What problem is likely to be faced in the blood bank? So pause this video for a moment and think about it. Just take 10 seconds, think about it, and try to tell the answer. So I'm sure that some of you might have got the answers, that in this particular condition there is development of autoantibodies against the RBCs, is it not? So this can cause difficulties in cross matching the blood in the blood bank. Are able to follow? So autoantibodies may cause difficulties in cross matching. That is a point I would want you to remember. So thanks for watching this video. Comment if you have any questions. Please subscribe to this channel and please feel free to share with your friends. Stay connected. I will see you in the next clinical reasoning series. Thank you.